Story 1. Am I the a-hole for ruining Thanksgiving? I, 30 female, met my boyfriend, 30 male, 3 years ago. Before me, he was together with his high school sweetheart. They fell out of love and broke up. A year later, we started dating. His mom, however, was still heartbroken about it. I was very understanding and thought she needed time to get to know me. The ex basically grew up with them and they saw her as part of the family. For the first year of my relationship, his mom would call me his ex's name until boyfriend got angry once and told her to be nice. She laughed it off and said it was just a habit. After that, she started calling me the wrong name, Janet instead of Jenny, fictional names just for the story. I corrected her a couple of times, but she seemed to like hurting me, so I ignored it later. My boyfriend has 2 sisters, and a couple of weeks before Thanksgiving, we were invited to a barbecue at the old sister's house. I was in the kitchen with my boyfriend's mom, the sister, and one of their husbands. The older sister then talked about how my boyfriend praised my cooking to her husband, and the mom was listening. She then said out loud, "Sure, why don't we let Janet make the turkey this year?" The sisters giggled and looked at each other, and I said, "That's a great idea." I didn't tell my boyfriend what happened. On Thanksgiving, we went to his mom's house with the usual wine and dessert. She was shocked. Everybody was shocked. I said, "What?" I thought Janet was bringing the turkey. There was yelling, crying, and then we got kicked out. My boyfriend is so angry with me, he hasn't talked to me since. I think it's over, to be honest, but I don't think I did anything wrong, did I? I feel like part of that got deleted or cut off and we're missing, but I'm guessing she did not bring a turkey because Janet was going to bring the turkey. And honestly, I don't think the boyfriend should be that angry. Seriously, your mom has been disrespecting your girlfriend over and over, and you kind of talked to her about it a little, but you've just kind of let things go. Then again, she did not tell him about this whole, why don't we let Janet make the turkey? I don't know. It seems maybe a little bit petty, but also deserved because they're just being kind of nasty to you. So I don't know. I think the boyfriend needs to get over it. And also, I think if people are going to be yelling and crying and throwing a fit because there's no turkey for Thanksgiving, calm down. It's about being around the people and all that stuff. And I don't know. There's better ways to handle all of this, I'm sure, but I can't with rude parents like that. Story 2. Ask a stupid question. My son is biracial and fairly dark compared to me. Regardless of how he looks, it still baffles me that someone would automatically assume adoption. Nothing against adoption. Adoption is awesome, and if I had the financial resources, I would definitely adopt or foster, given the amount of diverse couples in the United States. Also, is it really anybody's damn business whether the child is adopted or not? While shopping with my adorable spawn when he was about 4 to 5 months old, a woman with the aged soccer mom ASM look and a young teen obviously following along while watching videos on a smartphone approaches me and comments on how cute my kid is, then asks the question, "Where did you get him from?" Seriously, what the hell sort of a question is that? My uterus. Where's that? Holy crap, did she just think I named a foreign country? Near the Straits of Fallopian. Well, how long did it take to get him? Are you effing kidding me? Well, the initial proceedings were fairly quick, but then there was a 9-month wait. Let me tell you, it felt like a weight dropped from my gut when I finally got to hold him. ASM, with a look of comprehension finally dawning, "You could have just said he was your real child." Oh, I could open up a whole new can of verbal whoop-butt over your bad dye job, lady. But this was much more fun. ASM becomes red-faced, sputters an insult, and starts walking away. I gently hold my son's hand in the air and wave it. Me, say bye-bye to the crazy lady, sweetie. My son spits up instead. Yeah, she made me feel sick too. Edit. Holy beans and rice. I did not at all expect this to blow up like it has. Thank you for the awards and upvoting, everyone. Be excellent to each other. Another edit. My phone hasn't chirped so much since my ex tried to contact me on his friend's phone after I blocked his number. I love reading the stories some of you posted, and I'm trying to respond to as many of you as possible. You guys are awesome. Dear strangers, please stop making assumption about people and their kids or the people they're with or whatever in public. Because you know what happens when you make an assumption? You make something out of you. Just you. You're the only one who looks like a complete butt. It's you. You make the other people uncomfortable, but you look like a dang fool. So just stop it, please. Just stop assuming stuff about people. You can just ask normal questions that aren't assuming things. It's not that hard. Story 3. She would rather risk killing her child than be wrong. I was sitting around reading stories here, and I realized I had a perfect story. The entitled parent is my mother and her insane need to be right. When I was younger, my father had a massive heart attack, the result being that we had to change the family diet to something more heart-healthy. Lots of people go to seafood for heart-healthy diets because of all the healthy oils and fats, so shellfish and fish were a large part of the household. One night, we had shrimp pasta. I started getting this weird feeling all over my body. I felt like my whole body was on fire and like my nose was stuffed, so I had to take deep breaths through my mouth. I looked at my arms and giant red splotches started to appear all over me. At this point, I call my mother over and exclaim that I must be allergic to shrimp. She looks at me and replies, "It doesn't look bad, just go to sleep." The entire night, I tossed and turned, unable to catch my breath or get away from the relentless heat oozing off my skin. I decided that day I would never have shrimp again. The next couple times my mom made a meal with shrimp, I would politely decline and make food for myself. Even though I made my own food from scratch, I was still feeling strange after the meal. I was starting to get to the point I would be gasping for air, barely able to swallow, and wheezing. I assumed that being in the same room when they cooked shrimp might be enough to make me feel sick. I mentioned this to my mother and got an irritated sigh and eye roll. "You are not allergic to shrimp." So the next time dinner with shrimp rolls around, I just don't say anything. The symptoms came on as usual, but I just kept it to myself. Apparently, the lack of mentioning how bad I felt was interpreted as me admitting I was fine. My mother walks over, all proud of herself, and sits down next to me. "See, I've been rubbing shrimp on your utensils before you eat for a while, and you're perfectly fine." Needless to say, I eventually went full anaphylaxis, unfortunately from something other than shrimp while I was student teaching, and I had to go see an allergist. After my allergy panel, the doctor declared a very long list of foods, plants, and molds I was allergic to. Guess what was on the deathly allergic list? Shrimp. My mother's reaction when I pointed it out? She shrugged and said, "Oops." That was about a decade ago, and I still can't eat the food she has prepared. She just tested me again, with onions this time, just last year. She tells me there are no spices on things, and then remembers when my throat starts closing up and I have to devour Benadryl. The worst part is, my father knows and doesn't warn me. So that's my story of my mother preferring being correct over me being alive. I actually have a ton more of these. If anyone finds my random childhood stories interesting, I might post more. Thanks for reading. Oh my goodness, I posted this before taking a nap and woke up to all of this support and concern. I appreciate it all so very much. To put some fears aside, I no longer live with my parents and are in light contact with them. My husband takes my allergies very seriously. He doesn't even allow them in the house, so I am safe from the poisonings. Also, I know a lot of people don't understand why I'm in contact at all. The cycle of abuse is a crazy thing, especially when it's all you know. You think it's normal until you escape. I'm in massive amounts of therapy and working on my mental and physical health. Edit 2. I posted another story about being paid for babysitting with a story from my mother about how I was a happy baby. I sadly have no idea how to link things, or I'd put it here. Sorry about that. Why are there these parents who refuse to admit that their children have allergies? Because I've seen stories like this come up multiple times, and I really just want to slap these parents and be like, stop almost killing your children. You're not a doctor. You don't get to make this call. What is wrong with you? And the fact that after you showed her the proof, she was like, oops. Or the fact that she was rubbing shrimp on your utensils. Put that utensil in her thigh. Just, stop it. Stop trying to kill me. This is that's ludicrous behavior. You don't do that. Oh, jeez. I'm losing my mind over this stuff. Don't do this, parents, okay? Just believe your kids when they say something makes them feel ill, even if you just think, oh, they're just saying that because they don't like it. Well, then don't make them eat it if they don't like it. Why? Would you like it if people made you eat stuff you don't like? What if your daughter, every time you were cooking something, snuck like ghost pepper hot sauce into what you're eating, and then you're eating it and you're like, oh my God. And you're just like, really, Mom? Really? It's not that bad. You're fine. Like, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't like it, you dingus. Story 4. Officer didn't give a warning, so I told his kid he couldn't ride. For the last few years, I've worked pre-season at an amusement park. I have the final call as a supervisor since I've got 6 years seniority, even though I only work 8 days a year. 5 years ago, a police officer gave me a citation for driving 5 miles per hour over the limit, even though I hadn't received a citation since 2001. 2 days ago, a ride operator called me because someone was upset that his child wasn't tall enough to ride. Although I could have allowed his child to ride with adult supervision, I recognized the officer and denied his request. Yep, 5 millimeters under, officer. I'm sure he understood after that as his child bawled. Am I the a-hole? Yes. Why, yes, I am. I mean, I'm glad that at least you understand that you're kind of an a-hole in this story. Like, it's some pretty good revenge, but you're kind of taking out your feelings on this officer, mostly on a small child. Like, the officer is just going to be irritated and angry. And yeah, you got your revenge on him, but you also just made a child really sad and unhappy when you didn't have to. So, I don't know. I mean, I would have maybe tried to make my point and then be like, no, you know what? I'll let you off with just a warning instead. You can go. Like, make your point, but don't make a kid sad. I mean, not the worst thing in the world. The kid'll get over it. And that's it. I'm going on vacation. I hope you have or have had a lovely holiday. And to everyone watching, I hope you all had lovely holidays if you celebrate. I don't know. Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.